Dear students, my previous class, uh, that is the QC and QA subject, that is chapter 3. I have discussed about the particularly ointments. In that, I have mentioned about both the in-process quality control test and finish test ointment. So yesterday I discussed about only the in-process quality control. Today I talk about the finished products evaluation tests. That is evaluation of the ointment. So in the evaluation of the ointments for finished product, that is there are again two methods. One is the physical method and physical methods, and the another one is the microbiological. So in case of physical methods, there are again 6 tests are there. One is the test of rate of absorption, number one. Second one is the test of non-irritancy, and then test of rate of penetration, then test of rate of drug release, then for rheological properties test, then test for content in. That means a test for rate of absorption, test for non-intensity, test for rate of penetration, test for rate of drug release, test for rheological properties, and test for content uniformity. So by mistake it is mentioned off, off, off in all the cases. So those are the 6 tests are there in physical methods. And in second one, the microbiological methods, again there are 2 tests. One is test for microbial content, and the second one is the test for preservative efficacy. Here also it is mentioned off. Sorry, it is instead of for it is mentioned off OF. Test for microbial content and test for preservative efficacy. So let us look into all these methods, physical methods as well as the microbiological methods. Then the test for rate of absorption. So in this case, how much absorption, what is the rate of absorption has taken place? Ointment. So here, diadermic ointments. There are diadermic ointments are there. They are all those. They're all from which the drug moves into deep skin tissues. In case of diadermic ointments, and finally into the systemic circuit. Okay. So such type of ointment should be evaluated for what? The rate of absorption of the drugs. Ointment is to be applied over a definite area of the skin by rubbing. So at regular intervals of time, serum and urine sample should be analyzed for the quantity of the drug. So from this, the rate of absorption, that is the amount of drug absorbed for unit time, should be more. Okay, here very simple. The ointment should be applied on a definite area of the skin by rubbing. Then at regular intervals of time, the urine and the serum should be evaluated or analyzed for the drug absorption. Second one, test for non-irritancy. So we all know that all the ointments have been made with the most of the bases only, but bases cannot be. The bases used in the formulation of the ointments may cause sometimes irritation or any allergic reactions. So non-irritants of the preparation has to be evaluated by the patch test. So in this patch test, 24 human volunteers are selected. Then the definite quantity of the ointment should be applied on the back or the volar forearm for 21 days. Okay. Then daily uh, what type of pharmacological action should be observed and it should be noted. So then no visible reaction or arrhythmia or intense arrhythmia with edema and vascular erection should. Okay. So once they apply, 24 volunteers, human volunteers are selected, and they apply the ointment on those on the back or volar forearm for 21 days. Then the action should be observed and noted, and there should not be any visible reaction or arrhythmia. So then, so how to assess then a good ointment base uh, should shows no visible reaction. That is for that. Then number 3, the test for rate of penetration. So in this case, the test for rate of penetration of a semi-solid dosage form, it is very crucial in the onset and even during even in the duration of action of the drug. It is very crucial. Okay. Then here the weight quantity of the preparation, that is ointment, should be applied for the some selected area of the skin for a definite period of time. Then the preparation which is left over is collected then, and then it should be weighed. The difference between the initial and final weights of the preparation gives the amount of preparation penetrated to the skin, and then this when divided by the area as well as the time period of application, so that gives the rate of penetration of the preparation. So the test should be repeated twice or thrice. Then this test is sometimes difficult also and not followed anymore. And using some flow through diffusion cell or microdialysis method, this can be estimated, or even animals or human skin of definite area will be collected and tied to the some of the holder present in the diffusion cell. So then diffusion cell is placed in a fluid bath, and we can measure the quantity of the preparation which is applied for the skin, and the amount of drug passed into the fluid is measured at regular intervals by analyzing the liquids of the fluid using method. Then next test is test for rate of drug release. So there are 3 methods by which the rate of drug release from the ointment can be evaluated. Sorry, ointment base can be evaluated here, the rate of drug release. Method 1, here in this case, you have to take a clean test tube, and then internal surface is coated with the ointment base. That means ointment preparation, thin layer. You just apply as a thin layer in the test tube. Then saline or serum is poured into the. So after a certain period of time, the saline is analyzed for the quantity of the drug. So you take the saline and then analyze the quantity of the drug. The amount of drug when divided by the time, what is the time period you have given, gives the rate of drug release, how much amount of the drug is released. That. Then method 2. So here in this case, empty the ointment jar is taken. That means empty ointment jar is taken. Then it is filled with the preparation. Then mouth is closed with the fluffing. Then jar is placed in water bath in an inverted position for a definite period of time. Okay. Then the water is analyzed for drug content. The rate of drug release is 9. And method 3. This method is suitable for drugs which are having the bactericidal action. Then here, 5 nutrient agar broth tube shots be taken and the media is melted at 40 to 45 degrees centigrade. Then Staphylococcus aureus organisms inoculated into all the tubes, in all 5 nutrient agar broth tubes. Then under aseptic conditions, the inoculated media is transferred into the sterile petri plates. Each plate at the central portion, the medium is streaked into a small cup-like surface. Over a cup, a small quantity is placed under conditions. Just look at the diagram, zone of inhibition. In this case, all the plates, then petal plates are incubated, and after the diameter of zone of inhibition of the microbial growth is measured in all the plates. The average diameter of zone of inhibition is calculated and interpreted as the rate of the drug release. The same way, the agar medium can be inoculated with chemical substance which gives color reaction of the drug. So in this, the diameter of the colored zone surrounding the cup of the medium has to be interpreted as the rate of drug release. For example, uh, ferrous sulfate, it gives the purple color with the acetic acid. Then BM reagent, bottle emulsion reagent, gives the pink color with sulfur drugs. Sulfur drugs. Uh, that means BM reagent gives a pink color with sulfur drug. The rate of release of drugs from a dosage form influences the rapidity with which the drug releases the action. Then the test of rheological properties. A test for rheological properties. The viscosity of the preparation should be such that the product can be easily removed from the container and easily applied to the skin. Using cone and plate viscometer, the viscosity of the preparation can be determined. The sample is placed where at the center of the plate, then it is raised into a position under the. Then the cone is driven by a variable speed motor, and the sample is shared in a narrow gap between the stationary place as well as the rotating cone. This is a small diagram, rotating cone as well as the stationary plate. The rate of shear in RPM is increased and decreased by a selector dial, and the viscous traction torque produced on the cone is read on the indicator scale. Then a plot of RPM versus scale reading is constructed. Now this is a formula to calculate the N is equal to small C T by V. The viscosity is the instrument constant, which is torque reading is speed of cone. And test for content uniformity. So in this case, for the content uniformity, so nearly some 10 ointment tubes are selected at random. Then remove any labeling that might alter the weight also. Any labels are there on that ointment tube. So then clean all the ointment tubes and dry the outer surface of the container. Then weigh each container. So then remove quantitatively the contents from each container. Weigh each empty container. So the average net weight of contents of the 10 containers not less than the labeled amount, and the net weight of the contents of any single container is not less than 91% and not more than 109% of the whatever labeled amount is mentioned. Where the label amount is 50 grams or less, or not less than 95%, 5%, and not more than 104.5% of the labeled amount, where the labeled is more than 50 grams by not more than the 100 grams. So this is the procedure is given for this. So if the requirement is not met, then determine the net weight of the contents of another 10 additional containers. Okay. So in this case, the average net weight of the 20 containers, the contents of the is not less than the label amount, and something as good as but for 20 containers. So this test is to ascertain that each tube is filled with the minimum specified quantity. This is also called minimum fill test. This is the figure. There is the tube extrusion rig, a device which quantifies the force required to extrude the contents of the tube. Those are the some six tests for physical methods. Then the second one is the microbiology. So again, already I discussed that there are again two tests are there available. Number one is the test for microbial content. So in this case, the microorganisms like Pseudomonas aeruginosa and even Staphylococcus aureus. So these organisms, microorganisms, they may contaminate the preparation, and finally, they may infect the skin. Those are applied. So then, so semi-solid dosage form should be tested for the even the absence of microorganisms. So in this case, the test for Pseudomonas aeruginosa, first one. In this case, the Pseudomonas aeruginosa is we all know that a gram-negative organism. It contains abundant amounts of cytochrome oxidase. So the presence of this enzyme in the preparation is interpreted as the presence of the solutions of the different samples of the semi-solid dosage form are prepared. Then each sample is inoculated into nutrient broth medium present in the test tube. Then all the test tubes has to be incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 18 to 24 hours. After incubation, 0.2 ml of the alpha naphthol and 0.3 ml of para-amino dimethyl aniline oxalate are added. Each to be added after incubation, and after incubation only you have to do. So immediately the test tubes were shaken vigorously for thorough oxygenation of the content. So then no blue color should appear if the test preparations does not contain the enzyme and the microorganism that is Pseudomonas. What is the enzyme? The enzyme is nothing but the cytochrome oxidase enzyme. It should not produce any blue color. Then the test for Staphylococcus aureus. So this test is also called the uh, Vogel's test. So in this case, the solutions of different samples of the preparations has to be made. First, each sample should be inoculated into a separate volumes of 0.5 ml of rabbit's plasma and aseptic conditions and incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 1 to 4 hours. So in this case, there should not be any formation of the clot in the incubated mass, so which indicates the absence of the organism that is Staphylococcus aureus. So I repeat the ointment, some different samples of the preparation has to be made, solutions inoculated, okay, into the rabbit plasma under aseptic conditions, then incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 1 to 4 hours. And there should not be no formation of the clot in the incubated mass. Then it indicates that there is the absence of the organism called the Staphylococcus. Then test for uh, preservative efficacy. So in this case, what are the requirements needed? That is microorganisms, that is cultures of Aspergillus niger, Candida albicans, Escherichia coli, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Pseudomonas each contain, this is a 1 lakh cells per medium. Tryptophan, azolectin broth, cat broth. So procedure, what is the normal procedure followed? So in this case, using pour plate technique, where we are using pour plate technique, the number of microorganisms initially present in the preparation has to be determined. Solutions of different samples of the preparations are made, mixed with the cat broth. So this is here the diagram. Steps in the pour plate method. Pour plate method. This is 1, 2, 3, calling it counters. All cultures of the microorganisms are added into each mixture, the receptive conditions, and then all the mixtures are incubated. Then the number of microorganisms in each sample are counted on 7th day, 14th day, 21st day, and 28th day of the population. Then what are the microorganism limits are allowed? So on the 14th day of the number of vegetative cells should not be more than 0.1% of initial concentration. Okay, the viable yeast and mold should be below or equal to initial concentrations. That is on 14th day. And on the 28th day, the number of organisms should be below or equal to initial. Yeah. These are the few evaluation tests for the finished products of the ointments. The references were given yesterday only. Thank you.